Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. I decided to do mine on the University of California, San Diego. This public research university is recognized as one of the most diverse higher education institutions in the state of California, measured through distinct key indicators of student experience such as equity, diversity, and inclusion. The UC San Diego takes part to acknowledge having a diverse student body does not ensure the existence of an overall welcoming, inclusive, and equitable student experience. That is why UC San Diego's intentional and ongoing work ethic to cultivate an inclusive and diverse community through co-curriculum experiences and serving our communities locally, regionally, and globally play a central part to the university's mission. To give you a little background knowledge on the University of San Diego, it was founded in 1960. It's a four-year institution and is recognized as a public research university. It was ranked #1 amongst the world's top Golden Age universities. And a fun fact about it is the school was built on top of two former military bases, Camp Matthews, a former Marine Corps rifle range, and Camp Callan, a former World War II anti-aircraft training base. Some other interesting facts is it serves just over 38,000 students and has over 130 undergraduate programs and 55 graduate programs. Through these college-wide goals, UC San Diego's attempt is to grow through the departments, the units, and even through individual experience. So to go a little bit deeper into my assessment plan, the program that I plan to assess is umbrellaed under the Center for Student Involvement. So with colleges and universities, individuals entering into different parts of their lives, whether it's faculty, administration, or students, higher education interconnects the purpose of growth. UC San Diego's commitment towards embodying the mission to continually transform the knowledge, creativity, and public service of our nation is not leading through someone else's values, words, or experiences. Individuals part of UC San Diego lead out of their own distinct terms of learning, community building, and engagement outside the classroom to drive instrumental changes to cultivate society and promote economic growth. The UC San Diego utilizes the service learning aspect of the Center of Student Involvement for students to become more involved with the people from a wide range of backgrounds and identities and help individuals recognize the value in being a part of something bigger than themselves, whether it's through student development focus, welcoming environment, and the sense of community. The Center of Student Involvement plays that role for students to get involved in those areas. I'm not going to go through each of those outcomes, but if you would like to pause the video and read them, you are more than welcome to. One of the integral components to the Center of Student Involvement to ensure that we are maintaining equity, diversity, and inclusion in the university's culture is the program that I will be talking to you about, which is the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Peer Educator Program, or can be also referenced as the EDI Peer Educator Program, which is governed by Greek Life. This was established in 2015 to address the growing need for social justice education and become a platform where members could participate in an in-depth discussion of equity, diversity, and inclusion issues that were impacting our students on a daily basis. Towards the beginning of this process, the peer educators were setting up tiny workshops for the Greek Life members to attend, but now, as you can see to your right, there is a schedule that they keep to ensure that each chapter is involved in this progress. I will now move on to the program learning outcomes and show you what our outcomes, our measure, and target with the timeline is for each goal. So within our first outcome, our focus belongs to how UC San Diego's campus community believes leadership should play a role to set expectations and standards around the respect for a diverse culture at the institution. The EDI Peer Educator program is intended to guide our students in how they go about their daily activities and serves as a reminder of how we view and treat each other as members of a diverse organization. With this intention, students should be able to demonstrate a greater understanding of how to promote social justice and equity after the workshop. What we're hoping is through the short answer response survey that will be given out 2 days after the workshop that they attend, there will be a 70% of respondents being able to identify how to handle a scenario given by naming at least 2 practices to promote social justice and equity. We understand that not everyone is going to fully retain the information, but we are hoping with the exercises and topics and activities that we have that students will be able to gain more knowledge and be able to take a call to action. Within our second program learning outcome, we're focusing on how UC San Diego continues to identify approaches for how the university can maintain a deeper and broader relationship with underrepresented groups. With the Greek Life Initiative program, the EDI Peer Educator program, students are able to appreciate how other individuals from different backgrounds or identities contribute to progressing our university community forward. As a result, students will be able to demonstrate a greater understanding in the value of cultural and ethnic differences. We are hoping to measure this through a participant response survey that will be distributed right after the workshop and immediately be collected after they are done taking the survey. Our hopes with this is that 85% of the students attending will have acknowledged that they've gained a greater perspective on equity, diversity, and inclusion by selecting agree or strongly agree. In our last program learning outcome, we're focusing on the opportunities for UC San Diego's community engagement and public service creates a foundation of strategic relationships and partnerships. Through this, the EDI Peer Educator program aligns with the university's connections to the community to develop an impact on how students take on a distinct role in activism. For this reason, students will be able to demonstrate higher levels of confidence for working on a team within a diverse workforce and global community. Through this outcome, we are asking each chapter to come up with a change initiative that will progress their organization forward. This will be assessed annually, and our hopes is that 90% of the Greek Life chapters will present a change initiative and demonstrate why this initiative is important for a diverse workforce and a global community. I will now move on to the survey questions, which is broken up into 4 different features: demographic questions, Likert scale, open-ended questions, and a rating scale. When breaking down the sections, the first part that I wanted to identify within the survey is the demographics. So we want to know who's answering the questions, what chapters, to identify is there a certain class year that's answering more due to classwork or other activities that are going on? Is there one chapter that's pushing it more than the other, or that we're getting more responses? Having these results can help identify a different assessment later on about how we are engaging our students and what we can do differently. The second section is the bulk of necessary information that should be retained from the program. Each session held by the EDI Peer Educator program addresses social justice issues and strives to improve understanding of the EDI topics related to Greek life, UC San Diego, and the broader community. Students will be asked to read these statements that are actually microaggressions, and by the students answering this, we can gauge where they are with how these statements are stated and how we can refine our program to create a better understanding of how to address these situations and how to move forward. The second to last questions that I have for our students is to rate the different workshop activities that we have for our students, to know what is working, what's not working, what do they want to know more about, or what are they interested in. By seeing this, we can discuss where we need to put our efforts in and where we need to pull back a little bit. The last two questions that we have give us an overall view of what our students are thinking. So what other workshop topics do you think would benefit our Greek life members? So people might be thinking, oh, I have this idea that I think we should talk about. And when students are able to express that and not do it in person, sometimes it makes it easier to do because it's anonymous. And another question is, how can we improve the EDI peer educator program? One individual isn't going to make a change. We need everyone to bring in the efforts to make this a better program and to continue forward. In the assessment plan for the EDI peer educator program, my recommendation lean more towards who should divulge into the information and what information should be shared with certain groups. My first recommendation is to give the main source of the information to peer educators. They're the one that are developing the workshops, the activities, the knowledge and information that their members are trying to understand. So having a leverage on the results and seeing what is being collected and how our members are thinking can progress our program forward to change things or to pull back on things. So we need to make sure that they're given most of the results. Within that, I believe that the Center for Student Involvement should have a hand in it, but not too much where they're juggling it, due to the Center for Student Involvement umbrellas Greek Life and the EDI Peer Educator program. So utilizing the Greek Life advisor to just guide the peer educators can help, because she or he can answer questions and think about what could be the next steps, or what questions can we ask to further the program. Either way, they're guiding our peer educators to make changes to better the program. From that point, I think it's also a good perspective to look towards the Director of Development Diversity Initiatives. John Jacinto Duca plays a role that is based off of community building and connecting causes that matter to UC San Diego through regional, local, and global locations. So seeing how our EDI Peer Educator program responds to our programs through results such as presenting a change initiative can help us rethink how information on social issues are being presented and how he could take a different perspective on it and give us new ways to engage our workshops, to create new ways and exciting ways for our students to see the information. Either way, having a new set of eyes from a different part of the university helps promote a new potential path to develop the program. So throughout this whole assessment process, the most valuable part of the assessment is to figure out what is next, and what can be learned. So when the information is collected and we're going through the process, we have to gauge where the information of social justice issues presented, if they were clearly heard and understood to the point where students can answer the questions with new perspectives. Every aspect of developing and supporting the initiative or actions made in part of the assessment counts towards reflecting and learning through the EDI Peer Educator program. UC San Diego's commitment seen through the heart of the mission and the college-wide strategic plan and in the service of program learning demonstrates the university's focus on being a student-centered, research-focused, service-oriented public university. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and if you need any further details, the contact information is listed below. And I have listed on the next slide references.